So here I am outside the FCO main office, and we're just having a quick protest here with regards to the failure of the embassy in the UAE, the British embassy in the UAE, even protecting my civil rights. Now, what had happened was I was assaulted by a UAE state taxi driver. In 2013, May 2013, my father died and I couldn't come home from my father's funeral. The taxi driver in his statement admitted to the attack on myself. So at that point, the FCO, or FCO is the governmental body who regulates the ambassadors over there and the foreign embassies. And the foreign embassies, hi there, Tim. And the foreign embassy in Dubai knew that my passport had been taken in 2013, May 2013, after being assaulted by this taxi driver. So the taxi driver had assaulted me, and he admitted that there wasn't any ambiguity there. He admitted to assaulting me, and I was charged because, whatever reason they charged me. The reason they charged me was the taxi driver was a UAE state taxi driver. So my passport was taken. I wasn't allowed to leave the country for 2 years. I ended up going to jail in Dubai because of the terrible criminal justice system. So I then complained through my MP, Alison Thewlis, who's an SNP MP, to the FCO. The FCO have basically done nothing, gone through their procedure, and the FCO did nothing. Basically, they're, I think, a bit anti-Scottish. Is there any Scottish people working here? No? Don't think so. I don't think there's any Scottish people working here either, obviously making up 1 in 10% of the actual population. So when I had actually applied to the FCO through Alison Thewlis, who didn't do very much, I was very underwhelmed by Alison Thewlis, she had put in the initial complaint. So I then went to Tommy Shepherd, who was my MP at the time as well, and basically what had happened was that we put in the complaint to the FCO, and the FCO did nothing. They basically said that the complaint was out of time, and the fact was that they wouldn't actually investigate it. Now, while at the same time the actual people were basically saying that they weren't going to investigate it, what they said was that basically my human rights were allowed to be brutalised over there by the fact that, and I'm certainly not the only British citizen that was over there whose rights have been brutalised as well, but my human rights through no fault of my own, I was basically subject to some sort of persecution through the fact that I wasn't allowed to legally work or leave the country for 2 years. Now, the UAE embassy knew that I wasn't allowed to work and did nothing. They basically allowed me to starve on the streets for 2 years and did nothing, absolutely nothing. They just allowed me to stay there for 2 years. Now the FCO won't even investigate my complaint because they said it's time barred. I think the FCO is probably an anti-Scottish racist organisation. I don't think there's very many Scottish people actually working for the FCO. I don't think they do any sort of recruitment in Scotland, although we make up 1 in 10 of the population. So the fact is that this deeply anti-Scottish organisation is not even prepared to investigate itself because of the fact that they were basically banged to rights. I mean, we are now in the UK backing jihadi bombers who were held in Guantanamo Bay. They were held in Guantanamo Bay because they were a jihadi bomber. That gentleman who was the jihadi bomber came back to the UK through Lee Day, was able to sue the British government. Lee Day refused to take me as a client. They absolutely refused to take me as a client, although obviously the jihadi bomber was preferable. That jihadi bomber went to Syria, flew over to Syria after getting £1 million from our government, and went and blew himself up and killed other people. You couldn't actually write it. That's our government. Yet, when I went to the English Law Society, the English Law Society refused to actually give me a proper lawyer. The lawyer that they gave me, or one of the three, they give you a choice of three, and one of the lawyers that they gave me was a commercial lawyer. It wasn't even a civil lawyer. So I mean, absolute farce, absolute farce. Is there any Scottish people working here, boss? No, no Scottish people.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, not too bad. No Scottish people working here, boss. Do they not recruit in Scotland? You know we make up 1 in 10 of the population. You know that, don't you? I was just talking about what happened to me in Dubai. Is there any comment for the FCO? You want to comment about what happened in Dubai, boss? So there's no Scottish people. Obviously, it's a discriminatory organisation. They don't recruit in Scotland. I think we've got every other ethnic minority here, mind you, but without the Scots. So the actual discrimination that I suffered by starving on the streets in Dubai for 2 years, my father dying, and the FCO refused to do anything. They basically, my human rights was breached for 2 years. So what happens now? So I've been denied legal access. The FCO knew because the Dubai police took my passport and actually then took my passport and then actually wouldn't let me work for the 2 years, but informed the British Embassy, the so-called British Embassy. It was absolute fuel to the fire about us actually leaving, but actually knew the FCO, the British Embassy in Dubai, knew that I hadn't a legal ability to work or leave the country and did nothing. Did nothing. We're now backing jihadi bombers in Dubai, in Britain, who should have been in Guantanamo Bay because he was a Muslim terrorist, and yet we're backing them, giving them £1 million, who then eventually go and blow themselves up in Dubai. Go and blow themselves up in Syria, which is all documented. You can check out in Google. So, what's going to happen next? So, there's this thing called time barring. So, 2 years. So they give you a year to debar you from just justice, basically, just to actually get some sort of justice. So they bar you after you've had a year, actually, in from the point of reference. Now, I was in Dubai for 2 years without a legal ability to work or leave the country. It wasn't just a year, it was 2 years that I was in Dubai. So if they were time banning it from the day that they knew that I was in Dubai and I'd been able to starve on the streets, then I wouldn't have been probably able to do it because I was living off my family, and friends were very kind to me over there, and there was a lot of people who really helped me out. It certainly wasn't the British government who were actually paying for their so-called services, which I don't think they do very much. So the fact is that our British Foreign Commonwealth Office, which I don't think there's any Scottish people working there, boss. Do you advertise in Scotland? No. They don't really want to talk to us. So these people do not want to actually help us when we're actually in that situation. When you're actually asses against the wall, and they are getting paid basically by taxpayers' money to actually help British citizens. They're not even doing that job. They're actually allowing foreign countries to abuse British citizens in their countries, and without protecting them. Now, it would be very easy. There are actually places within the UAE embassy in Dubai and in where the actual ambassador sits in Abu Dhabi, and they aren't even prepared to, when they knew that you're not allowed to legally work or leave the country, they're not even actually helping people with their human rights. In the British and Commonwealth Office through the British Embassy are not even helping the British citizens with their actual rights in the actual countries where they're being abused. And there's no legislative redress against a country who is abusing your human rights. So I cannot, some foreigner can take the British government to court. I can't even take the British government to court, and I'm a British citizen. But they're allowed to take, a foreigner's allowed to take the British government to court, get a lawyer, get that paid by the British taxpayer, yet we're actually allowed to, or they're allowing us to starve on the streets in the UAE. So 2 years I was held in the UAE. Is any Scottish here? No, boss. Any Scottish? No Scottish people. So there was no Scottish. They don't recruit, obviously, in Scotland. So there 2 years I was held in the UAE without a legal ability to work or leave the country. and yet the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, through the ambassador, did nothing. They refused to investigate this as a complaint. They have been denied legal access both in Scotland and in England to a lawyer. Lee Day, who's supporting terrorists, have refused to do it. Anis Anwar have refused to represent us. The London Law Society has given us, because you're given 3 choices, and one of those was a commercial lawyer who deals with business law. I mean, honestly, you couldn't actually write it. So this is the situation we find ourselves in. We're paying taxpayers' money for the Foreign and Commonwealth, for their salaries, and yet we are being abused, allowed to be abused in other countries where we're actually not being recognised. Our human rights are not being recognised. We're being denied any legal access. The Foreign and Commonwealth Office are denying access to, for us to foreign offices, denying access for us to actually make formal complaints to them for the lack of help that we're getting in their countries, while they're allowed to let us starve. And the British citizen, David Hay, was raped in a UAE jail, who's a chairman for Leeds United, a former chairman for Leeds United. This is common knowledge now, it's been printed, I'm not saying anything out of turn. Raped in a UAE jail, and our Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the so-called people are paying their taxes for, are refusing to help British citizens. They are just allowing these people to abuse us in foreign countries. We're getting refused access. We're actually getting treated as second-class citizens in our own country. We've not got any Scottish people, as I keep asking. There's no Scottish people obviously working for the Foreign and Commonwealth. They're obviously not recruiting up there. And they are allowing our people to be abused in foreign countries and doing nothing. I mean, you can write it. You can check me out, David Ballantyne. It's on the internet. You can check what happened. David Ballantyne, Dubai. Check what happened in Dubai. And they have refused. So they're saying I was held for 2 years, time barred, even though I went to Alison Thewlis, who's an SNP MP. As soon as I got back, the complaint was made through Alison Thewlis, and they've now said that I'm actually time barred from actually making a formal complaint, and the UAE, the British Embassy or the British government are refusing to actually investigate it. There is many British citizens that have been abused in the UAE. They're being abused by the state, and our government is covering it up. They are actually not even prepared to investigate it. They're not even prepared to self-investigate. Why the Foreign Office should be self-investigating and there's not an independent body to investigate the FCO, I don't know. Self-investigation is no investigation in my book. So we're pretty much proven that we've got no Scots working in here anyway. It's obviously a deeply anti-Scottish organisation. And the fact is that even English people are abused. I mean, David Hay was not an insignificant character. He was the Leeds United chairman at one point. 2 years he was held in a prison cell. In a jail cell, not a prison cell. I was in a prison, an out prison. They were held in a jail cell. And they've done nothing. They did nothing. They knew from day one that I had no legal ability to work in the EU. And from May 2013 to April 2015, didn't do anything, didn't self-investigate, and this is what our taxpayers' money is going for. The MPs I've gone to now, I'm just about to go to my third MP, and they've done nothing, and the legal system's done nothing as well. And we've obviously seen that there's no Scottish people actually working here. My father died when I was over in the UAE, and I couldn't even bury my father. So this is a major problem. I mean, this is a completely incompetent situation with the FCO. Obviously not protecting human rights. They've obviously sacrificed British human rights when people are in a foreign country for whatever reason. There should be a legal way that I can sue the UAE government. This was a state taxi driver that attacked me. That was like a UAE employee, a UAE state employee who attacked me in the UAE. And I should have a right to actually take them to court, and their assets, which there's numerous UAE assets, should be able to be seized and actually pay for any damages that have actually happened that a court has actually done. But I'm being denied legal access, just like the FCO have denied actually self-investigation because of this time barring, which is just an excuse not to actually investigate it. Yet we're still giving out the British government as a law unto itself and corrupt in so many ways. We're now giving, that somebody read that, so thanks very much, mate. So we're not even investigating. So we're giving money to jihadi bombers who should have been in Guantanamo Bay. Is there any Scottish people here? No? Are you Scottish? Hey, fantastic. That's great. Where are you from, Scotland? Where are you from? I didn't think so. I'm taking that as a no. So the fact is that they're not prepared to investigate. So we're getting human rights abuses, but in the UAE, there's some sort of, like, it's a safe place to go. It's not a safe place to go. It's certainly not a safe place. The amount of people that I know who shouldn't have been in jail, that were in jail in the UAE, is just absolutely ridiculous. And the Foreign Office are not doing that. They're saying that alcohol's legal because they sell alcohol over there, but at the governmental level it's illegal. And the fact is you can be charged, so their state taxi drivers can attack you. The kangaroo court system in the UAE is absolutely disgusting. It's nearly as bad as the internal kangaroo system in the FCO. So, such a hard-working reporter. Smash the live streams. Thanks and cheers. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Terry. So the fact is that they cannot self-investigate. We need an independent body that's not through our MPs that can investigate state bodies. There has to be an independent body, and I should not be being denied. If I'm denied by lawyers to actually bring a case, I should have the right to bring a case by myself and actually present it to a judge if I'm being denied legal access. And also I was being denied what's it called? Legal aid. So obviously, having spent 2 years without a legal ability to work, my savings were gone, and the fact was that I had no money to pay for a lawyer externally. But I don't know how the jihadi in Guantanamo Bay, through Lee Day, who's now supporting people who are now taking cases against the SAS in a British court, foreigners that are able to take cases against our British government, our taxpayers' money, but yet I can be abused in the UAE and I'm not allowed any representation. Talk about becoming a second-class citizen in your own country. I mean, are you Scottish or no? No, there's nobody Scottish in there. So they don't recruit in Scotland, obviously. I told you it's a deeply anti-Scottish organisation. So that's why there's no help there. So absolutely disgusting, guys. I just thought I would bring this wee event outside the Foreign Commonwealth office because it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, it's not just me. I'm showing you what happened to me, which you can check out, as I said, online. But there is many British citizens who have been allowed to be abused by our Foreign and Commonwealth Office through our ambassadors in the UAE, and they have done nothing. They're not even given proper warnings that Dubai can be an unsafe place to go, or cutting airlines, or there's a number of things that are actually happening in the UAE that our British citizens are being abused for, and spending long periods of time in jails in the Middle East. And these are not being reported on by our media. These are being ignored, just as my case was ignored by the FCA. Just as they've actually refused to actually self-investigate it. Just like the fact that the UAE embassy in the UAE, the British embassy in the UAE had refused to actually give me any humanitarian help while I was over there. They refused to actually help. So basically all these guys are getting paid and they're getting taxpayers' money to do nothing. While we're doing humanitarian stuff for everybody else, humanitarian things for everybody else, we're not even prepared to help our own citizens now. We're giving money to jihadi bombers and lawyers that are representing jihadi bombers, but we're not even prepared to give a legal process to people such as have been in my situation. absolutely disgusting. What a waste of time and money these guys are. And obviously a deeply racist, anti-Scottish organisation. I don't remember foreign Commonwealth recruiting up in Scotland anyway. So it's a deeply untrustworthy organisation. And to actually allow a foreign government to abuse British citizens in their country and no legal redress, to me, is absolutely disgusting. So, I mean, it's just absolutely, and the refusal for them to investigate, the refusal for any legal process, absolutely vile. And they're getting paid through taxpayers' money. They're getting their salaries paid for, they're getting home at night, while the UAE is abusing British citizens. Absolutely disgusting. Right, that's me. I will see you soon, boys and girls. So, what was that? Thanks very much. Yeah, well, I think it's important that nobody's holding our public sector to account. Nobody's holding the people who are making these decisions to account. No reporters. Our reporters are all middle class and quite taken care of by themselves. So it's about time that somebody actually starts to take our political process to account, because it's becoming stale and corrupt in all aspects. And it's now time that we actually get somebody who has got a wee bit more gusto about them, and actually try and get somebody else. So that was quite fun, quite enjoyed that. But it is a very serious issue. I mean, I'm quite jovial about it, but if you think about you in that situation where you're not allowed to legally work or leave the country for 2 years, if you think about your father dying, not being able to go home for your father's funeral, it's a very awkward situation. But and it's not just me. I'm highlighting my own case because I'm highlighting my own case because other people have actually suffered from actually going through this process in the UAE. So it's not just me, although I'm just commenting moan, because obviously I don't want to take anybody else that's not already had the publicity about their case. But it's believe me, there's many people who are in that situation. So hopefully that's just illuminated a wee bit, guys. 10 Downing Street. So I think that's it. I think that's me. I don't know. I don't think there's anything in today for the other parts of government. We'll soon find out. No reporters standing there. Right, I'll leave that. Guys, love you, my baby gorillas.